y'all. You best to keep your mouth closed and zipped up before you get your ass knocked out. Game over. I flip the script and when I finish, you gon' need a fucking 4-leaf clover. Your luck bad. And my task is to make sure that you don't let that shit hit the fan. Man, I block shots. For those who choose to cross the line, I'm in the paint. I'm always on my grind. Give it up. What you got on my 40? I got bread, but I wanna spend red money. Fuck y'all. Yeah. DJ, turn it up. Come on. Right now. Get your hands high. Yeah. Wait side to side. Come on. Right now. This is what you need. This is hip hop. Yeah, it's about making you believe. Right here. Right now. Get it while it gets good. Let me show you how.
Right now, I can't believe what the hell is going on. These rookies say they reppin' the A, but they doing it wrong. Let us show you how to do it, cause your swaggin' done got stale. Where I come from in the A, you can't be bragging about your mail. Right now, OSV, that means old school vets. There's a lot of us giving you jobs and writing your checks. We can whip around in new schools, but old school's best. Right now, I know you feel the pressure of the beat in your chest. That's RBM, Real Stick, and FMS. Right here, you bear witness to two of the best. I know you're sick and tired of hearing that Maypop mess. Nah, I ain't hating dirty, I'm just stressed. Right now, it's time for OSB to full up rush. All that running around with the pants on the ground, we putting it to rest. Right here, we some grown men, little boys, we ain't playing. Right now, I'm about to take my belt off and start ass slinging. No. Ha. Right now, this is what's up. Always being meals, DJ, turn it up. Right now, put your hands high. Right side to side, motherfuckers fly. Right now, this is what you need. This is hip hop. Yeah, it's about baby believe. Right here, right now. Get it while it gets good. Let me show you how. Yeah, one for the money. Two for the bitches who talk shit about a game that they can't play or comprehend. Nigga, fuck y'all. You say you ballin' and shot calling for real though? I ain't seen shit, nigga, show it to me. Hey man, let me see what you I hope you bitches.
This is hour number 2 of the Doug Stewart Show, baby. Let's go. Nice. It's hour number 2. Man Talk Monday. Ballas and Bustas, game balls and goats. Also talking about the top 5 sports siblings of all times. Kind of like in honor of Serena Williams getting it done this weekend and winning the most majors in women's tennis history. Ball award to her once again and beating her sister Venus Williams. Incredible story. So I gave you number 5 on my list, and we're going to get to a little Falcons talk here in a second. Very interesting article I read out of Sports Illustrated. But coming in at number 5 on my list of top 5 sports siblings of all times was Cheryl and Reggie Miller. Coming in at number 4 was Eli and Peyton Manning. Now, y'all know I'm not a fan of anything New York sports related. Y'all know that. Y'all know I'm not a fan of anything sports related in the city of New York. Eli Manning, to me, is a guy that's been very, very fortunate in some of the Super Bowl wins that he has. But at the end of the day, he has them. I mean, very, very fortunate. Some crazy things happen for Eli Manning win 2 Super Bowls. Peyton Manning, you know, one of the all-time greatest quarterbacks of all time statistically, now has 2 Super Bowl wins. And, I mean, I don't think there's probably anybody else that ever came even close to having this success as far as siblings, brothers, sisters, or whatever, outside of, you know, and when I say success, I mean in winning championships in relative terms to Eli and Peyton Manning. Not a fan of Peyton Manning and his old-ass, racist-ass daddy, Archie. But in relative terms to all the other people that I have on my list, coming in at number 4 of the best sports siblings of all times are Eli and Peyton Manning. 404-382-0338. You can also email me at Doug@thedougstewartshow.com. This is a Man Talk Monday. A lot of talk about the Falcons and the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Media Day is going to be going down there. That's one thing I do miss about being with terrestrial radio as well. They had a budget where they'd send us out to the Super Bowl every year, and we'd be on Radio Row for a week and interview all the biggest names in sports and entertainment. That was a lot of fun. But a lot of talk about the Falcons and, what they need to do to get it done against the Patriots. 3-point underdogs right now. The last time I looked, there was an article written by this cat named Greg Bedard. He's a writer for Sports Illustrated. And the name of the article is An Open Letter to Dan Quinn. He says, tips and suggestions on how to beat the Patriots. And I guess all of these tips and suggestions come from him being a longtime writer and being a beat reporter and hanging around the particular team and Bill Belichick and interviewing these guys and, what makes them tick. But he gave 5, things that the Falcons need to do to get a victory in Super Bowl 51. And I agree with some of them wholeheartedly. Number 5 on this list was to bring pressure up the middle. And we talked about that. With any team that has to that are trying to beat the New England Patriots and Tom Brady, is their offensive line is so good, but you got to get push up the middle to make Brady uncomfortable. He's not a cat that can really stretch the pocket. Obviously, one of the most unathletic one of the most unathletic guys that you will ever see in a football uniform. But consistently, man, they're able to give him a clean pocket. Bedard goes on to say Vic Beasley with 15.5 sacks is by far your best pass rusher, and the Patriots will take him away if you deploy him in the usual role. Okay? He also mentions, did you hear the names of James Harrison, Bud Dupree, and Von Miller much against the Patriots? And making the point that usually they keep the middle of the field, very, very clean, and they push defensive ends and outside linebackers to the outside. Brady steps up in the pocket and, gets the ball down the field. He says you have to figure out a way to move him around, talking about Vic Beasley like the Texans did with Jadeveon Clowney. And, yeah, you're not going to be able just to leave Vic Beasley in his normal spot, have him, come up the field, edge rushing, and expect to have good success against Tom Brady. They're going to have to move the league sack leader around, maybe middle linebacker, and run him on some stunts, maybe on the opposite side of the field where he usually lines up on. You're going to have to try to do different things. Number 4, he has, don't just do what you do on defense. He says the Patriots may use tempo and they may dial up some tricky plays, but assuming you hold your own in those situations, the Patriots are just going to have to line up and execute against you on third down and in the red zone more than not. Number 3 on this list, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show from Greg Bedard from Sports Illustrated, prepare to play left-handed. And what he means by that is whatever you do best on offense, be prepared for Belichick and defensive coordinator Matt Patricia to take those things away from you or at least limit them. Okay? So I want to leave that there for a second. I'll talk more about it in a second after I talk about the last 2. The second thing is be prepared for the unexpected. You have 2 weeks to prepare for this game, so there's absolutely no reason why your players shouldn't be ready for everything. Basically, don't be the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, man, and I hate to throw salt on the Pittsburgh Steelers, man, but that is no more of a truer statement than I've ever heard in my life. Like, it was very early in that game between the Steelers and the Patriots where you just knew that if you stayed in this zone defense that you were going to lose. And the Pittsburgh Steelers just stayed with it. And listen, they're coaches. They're smart. They obviously made it to the AFC, championship game. But they didn't adjust. They did not adjust. You got to be ready to adjust, period. And I talked about it how I could easily see, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. We're brought to you by FireFan.com, by the way. I could easily see the Patriots just throwing out everything they did in the last game where they went 4 wides and 1 running back to a power offense with 2 tight ends and, they feed the ball to LeGarrette Blount the entire game. Like, you got to be ready for, Yeah, they plan to air the ball out a lot, or maybe they run the ball a lot, whether it's a lot of play action, whether it's a lot of, underneath stuff. You got to be able to adapt because they are well coached. Now, once again, having the team's playbook at your disposal as well doesn't hurt either. Right. Okay. So you got to be able to adjust. And the number one thing that he had, this guy Greg Bedard from Sports Illustrated, is listen to Scott Pioli. So Scott Pioli is the assistant GM to Thomas Dimitroff for the Atlanta Falcons, and he spent many years in New England. So he knows how Belichick ticks, and he knows the things that, the Patriots like to do historically. He goes on to say, anything I'm about to tell you, your assistant general manager should have already put into a book form for you, and hopefully you've worn out the pages. Pioli was around Belichick roughly from 1992 to 2008. From 2000 to 2008, he was Belichick's personal consigliere. I don't even know what the hell that word is. I'm sorry. They were tied at the hip. Pioli has seen up close how Belichick studies an opponent, especially when the Patriots won their first 3 Super Bowl titles after the 2001, 3, and 4 seasons. General Manager Thomas Dimitroff saw a lot as well, but he wasn't as close to Belichick as Pioli was. Pioli knows how Belichick thinks, how he will analyze your Falcons, and how he will attack and defend you. Listen to Scott Pioli. And I agree with that 100%. I agree with that 100%. And so I think that word is consigliere. So I guess what it means is personal assistant to some degree. Yeah, you got to listen to Scott Pioli. You got to listen to Scott Pioli and try to get, I guess, beneath the surface of what you see from the Patriots and what you have seen from them this year. And, I mean, this is like one of those reasons or one of those scenarios where, a team gets a guy off of the waiver wire that they're about to play in a week, so they can give them all the little secrets about that team, any little edge that they can get. You've got the right-hand man to Bill Belichick for close to a decade, is Scott Pioli. So I think that's a huge advantage in itself. He knows how this guy ticks, and they got to use that to their advantage, man. So some very good stuff, some good information for the Falcons, man, as they take on the Patriots. Perfect. Not just Scott Pioli, and once again, Scott Pioli was closer to Belichick than Thomas Dimitroff, but you got Thomas Dimitroff as well. So, I mean, that lends itself, that's kind of like insider trading, okay? If you're a gambler and knowing that these two guys that are in the front office for the Atlanta Falcons have some very, very good, pertinent information about how Belichick and the Patriots tick, that's invaluable information. That is. That's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. Once again, that is going to be huge. From Clay Orange Juice Jones Davis in the chat room with Spreaker.com. Once again, Quinn has coached against the Patriots in the Super Bowl before. That's right. That's another thing. With the Seattle Seahawks being the defensive coordinator. From Uncle Mike, and she better not try and write a book and cash in. Don't know what she's talking about. From Rough Buff X Squad, he says Chief Rocker still has a flip phone that is active. Yeah, he does. Chief Rock still walking around with a flip phone. Bless his heart. From Kaza, cheating Patriots, or cheating Pats, not just Pats. Let's see. From Clay Orange Juice Jones, I think we know who's winning the BPA this week. It's between Trump and that colonizer that lied on Emmett Till. Wow. From, let's see, who do we got here? From Big L, make them beat you running the ball. Patriots will not stick to the run. I've seen that before, though. I've seen the Patriots come out with a game plan. There was one particular game. It was like on Thursday night for some reason, how I remember it. And the Patriots came out, man, in like 5 wides. And they threw the ball like 3-4 series in a row every down. Like they didn't even